Wanjiku Kariuki, KTN.
Pressure is now mounting on the government over delayed compensation for victims of state violence, with survivors threatening to stage fresh protests if reparations are not completed by June 1st. The growing frustration now raising fresh questions over accountability, justice and the government's commitment to victims of protest-related abuses. Grace Nganga reports.
Victims and survivors of alleged state violence are now threatening to return to the streets if the government fails to honor its promise to compensate victims by June 1st. Speaking under the Coalition of Victims and Survivors Against State Violence, the group accused the government of silence and delay despite an earlier commitment to conclude the reparation process by June 2026.
We should be able to conclude this exercise before June.
We shall all come out. We shall all come out and protest these continued promises without actual delivery.
The coalition says many victims who suffered injuries, trauma and loss during past protests have been left frustrated and questioning the credibility of the compensation process.
The budget was set. It was passed by Parliament. Now, it is only lack of goodwill that this process has not been completed. Because everything has been set, funds are there, framework has been established, and therefore, we're not seeing any communication from the Office of the President.
The group insists the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has already completed its role by collecting testimonies and submitting victims' records to the advisory panel, saying the next move now lies with the government and the compensation panel.
They are done with their part. They are saying the list is at the office of the president, the executive office of the president, because the panel, the advisory panel, was set under the executive office of the president.
This is a call upon the DPP and the government as well to go and fast track these processes because we want to see justice.
The coalition further criticizes accountability institutions, including IPOA and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, accusing them of moving slowly in handling cases linked to protest-related killings and police brutality. The current reparation process was initiated earlier this year after the government pledged to compensate victims of protest-related abuses following mounting pressure and concerns from human rights groups.
We have identified all the victims and profiled their names, and we have already made sure that we have a comprehensive list.
An advisory panel was later established to oversee the compensation framework, while the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights was tasked with collecting testimonies and documenting victims' cases. But months later, many victims say they're yet to receive any communication or compensation, with growing fears that the process could stall despite earlier government commitments. Grace Nganga, KTN.
Thank you, Grace, for that report. But right now, I want us to go to Kenya's bold